You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And I would say a pleasant surprise to the box office and movie theaters nationwide, Twisters. I gave a review. I liked it. Didn't love it. Wasn't wowed by it. I was far more partial to the original Twister with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. This was a fine movie, but it was supposed to be a sequel of sorts to that movie, and it's not. There's no connective tissue. There are Easter eggs. If you're really paying attention, you'll see, oh, that's just like that, or that's a throwback to that. But there's no connection in storyline. So I can't call it a sequel, but it happens in the same universe and in the way that, Mark and I work at the same radio station. But, we don't have a whole lot of connection. I don't even like the guy.
Nothing else in common whatsoever.
Nothing. But Twisters came in at number one with $81 million domestically, $124 million worldwide. And against a $200 million budget, it needed to have a great first week. And it did that. Of course, you have to look at the second week drop off to see if there's negative or positive word of mouth, which is driving it into its second week. But from what I hear, it's receiving pretty decent word of mouth. I wasn't wowed by it, but I don't need to rain down on it. I don't need to talk bad about it. Despicable Me, even though Tawala hated it, it's still hanging in there in its third week. Came in at number two with a very healthy $24.4 million, and it passed the $500 million mark, has $577 million worldwide. It's not bad for the fourth movie in a franchise.
Yeah, well, people want to get out the sun.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure that's part of it. And there's not a lot of competition, but it's about what you do when you don't have that competition. Inside Out 2 is the hit of the year. Came in at number three with another $12.8 million domestically. It has a worldwide total of $1.445 billion. I don't think it's going to reach $2 billion, but it should reach 1.6, maybe 1.7.
It'll be the biggest animated release to date.
Ever. Yeah. Coming in number four, Mark, Long Legs.
Yeah, that's really exceeded expectation. So as far as I know, it's got a worldwide gross of around $47 million on a budget of under 10. And that is a big hit for a horror film.
That's a huge multiplier. And it's not done. It is still going strong. It brought in another $11.9 million in its second week. Coming in at number five is A Quiet Place, Day One. Still hanging around. Didn't do bad. It's at $241 million, but it's still behind its prequels. I guess you can call them prequels. The movies which preceded it. Coming in at number five, and this is something we kind of touched upon. I want to talk about it more. I haven't seen it yet. Fly Me to the Moon. It came in at 6, and it brought in $3.3 million for a grand total of $30 million so far. I really didn't care to see this movie because, as far as I'm concerned, it's a Capricorn 1 with a little bit more humor. As far as I'm concerned, it talks about possibly faking a moon landing for, I don't know, whatever purposes, and all the technology they do to use to fool the public. It's an apt conversation given the conspiratorial nature of people today in society, but it's been done, and I don't think you can improve upon Capricorn 1s.
Absolutely not. Capricorn 1 is a perfect movie.
Thank you. We agree on that one.
Yeah, one thing.
Yeah. And I wish Capricorn 1 was made exact same way in 2024, where they had the special effects and could have done just a little bit more with the production. Just a little bit more. But the story is perfect.
Yeah, there's no way you can improve on Telly Savalas yelling, "Get your bleep head down" in the plane.
Well, look. Wasn't OJ, that was his best performance outside of when he was on trial.
Well, yeah, it's a tough call.
Come on, Stefan. I worked all night for that one. Oh, thank you very much.
Then you've got Sam Waterston in that movie telling
young one,
the longest joke of all time.
Yes. Sam Waterston, obviously of Law and Order fame. Coming in at number 7 was Bad Boys, Ride or Die, another movie which has pleasantly surprised and overperformed, arguably. Has a worldwide gross of $388 million. If I'm not mistaken, it might be the highest grossing one, except for the first one.
Right now, it's getting there, yeah.
Yeah. you don't expect that. Usually you expect attrition when you get to the third or fourth movie. Talking about like Despicable Me, you usually don't have a resurgence in the franchise. Like they're doing another Men in Black movie. Why?
Yeah, why?
Who wants to see that? No one turned out to see the last one, which had her and him.
Chris Hemsworth and
Tessa Thompson.
Right.
Yeah.
Her and him.
Trash.
It was bad.
So you actually saw it?
No, I did see it.
I
I really did. It was not one funny, redemptive moment in the movie. And I like both of them as actors individually and other stuff they've done together.
Glad I went with my gut on that one and steered clear of it.
You missed absolutely nothing. I would not, in good conscience, recommend that to anyone. Coming in at number 8 is Bad News, NEWZ. I have no idea what that is, but it brought in like $1 million. A Crazy Laugh Riot, which will show the outcomes of 2 sophisticated Punjabi men and a Punjabi girl. One of the men has a one-night stand with the girl, and somehow craziness happens when she is pregnant unexpectedly. That doesn't sound funny.
That doesn't sound funny.
That sounds like life.
sounds like y'all went out for some drinks and had a little
It
thing.
sounds like any college campus.
I'm not paying to watch that.
There are a lot of people I know who live that. I don't get it. Whatever. But it brought in $1 million. Maxine, XXX, Mark, you talked about that.
Yeah, that's the third of a trilogy, and I actually haven't seen Maxine yet, but I've seen the first 2. They're quality, they're decent, they're not life changing. It's not a classic, but very, very well worth seeing.
Well, I'm sure its budget was not more than the $17.8 million that it's brought in so far, so it's probably making money.
Oh no, big hit on that front. As always, horror films don't cost much to make. They're critic proof. And they always bring in a lot.
Now, a movie I am very disappointed in. I haven't seen it yet, and I still do plan to see it because I'm a Tom Hardy fan. He's one of those actors I just like watching on the screen. The Bike Riders.
Oh, yeah, you should see that. It's really not bad at all.
Okay. It's gross worldwide $34 million so far. And I'm getting the feeling, and this is not, well, I guess it's kind of critical of Tom Hardy. He's not a bona fide star. He works well in an ensemble cast.
Well, he's more of an actor than a star. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Not a glamorous role.
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, but the movies that he has had the starring role in, he has not had great success in.
I think that's on video on demand now.
Well, there we go.
Prime.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. And he does some sort of Warner Brothers thing to his voice in this one. I mean, whatever the opposite of a leading man is, that's what he appears to be going for.
But I like Tom Hardy on screen. I like if he's in the movie, I'm interested.
Oh yeah.
It just hasn't translated, big picture, no pun intended, to his vehicles, in which he's a star.
I'm also disappointed, like you probably are, that he didn't really take the Mad Max thing and run with it.
No, well, was it offered to him?
We don't even know that.
Right.
Yeah,
because I know Furiosa underperformed, and maybe they didn't see him as being able to look, they did a Furiosa film before they did another Mad Max film. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, he was kind of on the verge of a few really big things. Like there was talk of him becoming Bond at one point too.
Yeah.
But you know what happens? You do Venom, and then people start doubting you. That's what happens.
Well, but
indefensible.
But here's the thing. Financially, that's probably the biggest thing that he's done, the first Venom.
Yeah, those things all
That's
made money to our
true.
eternal shame as a civilization.
You know, and it goes back to that first that Star Trek movie he was in.
Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah. When he was a young actor.
And I don't think most people even realized that was him until it was pointed out later on, because
he was so gaunt in that movie. He's like a child actor. His size is just so tiny.
Well, and he's hard to recognize bald too.
You can tell by that grill, though.
Is that right?
Those teeth have not changed.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, Tom, if you're listening. But it's true. You got all that money, you still haven't gotten your teeth done.
Are they some British teeth? Is that what you're saying?
The bottom row, definitely.
Okay,
They're
thank you.
very British.
Thanks for the clarification there.
It's later with Mo Kelly. When we come back on the other side, the beloved historic movie theaters, Westwood Village and Bruin. I know that I've been there. I remember when I went there to see The Phantom Menace opening night, and I waited in line for like a 1 a.m. showing. The only time in life that I waited out in line for a Star Wars movie. It didn't get out to almost 4 a.m, and I went straight to work at Warner Brothers Records at 8. It was the worst decision of my life. But we mentioned that because the Westwood Village in Bruin is closing this week.
Damn.
That's next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And if you've ever seen a movie in Westwood, there's a pretty good chance you've seen one either at the Westwood Village or the Bruin. And sadly, well, it's not completely sad news, but mostly sad news. Both of those theaters, the Westwood Village and Bruin, are closing this week. The somewhat good news is the Village Theater is expected to only close temporarily, and it's undergoing renovations, but there is no date on when it would be reopened. The fate of the nearby Bruin, which opened in 1937, remains unclear. It was not purchased along with the Village Theater. I just remember going to the Village Theater, I said this before the break, to see The Phantom Menace, Star Wars The Phantom Menace, opening night. And that was 1999. So we're talking 25 years ago, almost to the day. I think it came out in May. And it was the only time I was so dumb to stand in line for a movie, any movie, outside, hours upon hours in advance. And I did it. And if you're not old enough to remember, Lindsay, you probably weren't born then.
No, I was born in May 1999.
Okay, all right. So you might have been in a I don't know, a newborn ward somewhere.
Yeah.
But back then, that was the first Star Wars movie since Return of the Jedi, 16 years prior to it, 1983. It was a big, big, big deal. Star Wars coming back out in theaters. It was the first of the prequels. I was a kid who first went to see Star Wars in 1977. I think it was the second week it was out. I saw it with my father and my mother's father, my maternal grandfather. I'll never forget it. Saw it in Century City, as a matter of fact. So Star Wars has always been connected to me, my life, my family. I've seen every Star Wars movie so far. I don't know about any future ones, but Star Wars has always been real important. The point is, when I went to the Village Theater to see The Phantom Menace, I went by myself because no one wanted to go with me to stand in line, hold a spot. I think I got in line sometime around like 4:00 that afternoon for a midnight show. And it wasn't like food was everywhere. You just kind of stood in line and dealt with it. Saw the movie.
You are 100% right to be bitter all this time later, because
I was so disappointed.
Yeah,
I remember going, because I not only wasted my day leading up to it, I wasted my night going to sleep, and I went to work on no sleep. I remember I went home, I got breakfast, and it was in Westwood, and then I drove to Burbank, not right around the corner from where we are right now, where Warner Brothers Records used to be, and went to work until, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock that day. I remember I slept in my car at lunch. I was so mad. It's not that I hated the movie. It wasn't worth the sacrifice.
I mean, in your defense, and I really hate coming to your defense, in your defense, a lot of people camped out for literally
days.
Weeks. No, weeks.
Yes.
And I covered this when I was working in Seattle. People would bring tents, and they had all sorts of elaborate food delivery setups in place. Nobody was using the stuff that we use now. So you weren't the only one who did this, but I can't think of a less deserving movie to sacrifice like that for. Can you?
It was one of those never again moments. There's no movie worth that. Especially working in entertainment. I will call a friend. It's like, hey, can I come to a screening, a preview, a world premiere? I'm not doing it. I refuse. Especially not at this age, but that's my memory of the Westwood Village. And I know, Twella, you probably saw some movies there as well.
I saw a bunch of movies there. You know, Batman '89, I believe, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Aliens. We used to go to Westwood. That's where we went. We hung out all summer long. Me and my crew, thinking that we were cool, trying to talk to UCLA girls. That's what it was all about.
Damn right.
And that theater is historic. And man,
fine.
I mean, the Do the Right Thing riot, all of that happened because of that theater. But, you know.
I was hanging out in UCLA when they had the UCLA basketball team in 95 when they won the NCAA championship. They had the riot in Westwood. I was out there acting a fool.
Yeah.
Thank goodness there was no video.
One of those, I think it's The Bruin, is featured in Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
I don't know. I'm not a Tarantino fan. So
I think that's, if not his best, it's tied for his best. It's a good movie. And it's a big, long love letter to L.A. in the, late 60s?
It was absolute trash. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
That was straight garbage. Because every 30 minutes you think it's going to go somewhere, and then it just like stops. And then you get to the end, and I mean, I get what he was doing when it talked about the murder.
Shots fired.
But it was like you could have done this in 45 minutes, and you spent 3 hours doing it.
Okay, I think it's important to be delicate with people who obviously have had head injuries, Foosh. And so I don't.
He controls the rim shot. Be careful.
No, I don't want to come out swinging on this because it sounds as if you have larger issues than just this one movie. But I think if you love movies, this is an essential movie to see.
An essential piece of garbage.
Give yourself a rim shot. All right, before we run out of time this break, we got to let you know we have a big event that we're giving out tickets to tomorrow night. Coming up on Saturday, July 27th at the Hollywood Bowl is Barbie the Movie in concert, and it's featuring the Barbie Land Sinfonietta. Barbie fans of all ages are invited to dance this night away with the groundbreaking live-to-film concert experience, one night only, at the world-famous Hollywood Bowl. And it's going to immerse fans in a soaring score and songs of last year's record-shattering film. They're showing the film and playing live music to it. And it's produced and orchestrated by celebrated Tony Award-winning conductor Macy Schmidt, who will join us on the show tomorrow night. And she is conducting the Barbie Land Sinfonietta, which is an all-female, all-women ensemble. Barbie comes to life through this immersive outdoor sound. Now, if you want to pick up the tickets, you can go to HollywoodBowl.com right now. They have a few tickets left. It probably will sell out. I would not wait, but we will be giving away 2 pairs of tickets on the show tomorrow night as Macy Schmidt will join us. And also, in addition to that, I know that Amy King and Lindsay are going to get a backstage tour. Am I right?
Yep, that's right. And we're going to be interviewing Macy Schmidt as well.
Yeah. I like it when a plan comes together.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get all the behind the scenes, and we're going to get all the great info as well. And we're going to make sure that people tune in to Amy King and Wake Up Call. Mm-hmm. I'm quite sure they'll probably have that report Wednesday morning then.
Yeah, maybe Wednesday, maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But definitely you have to listen to Later with Mo Kelly, because we have the 2 pairs of tickets if you want to go to Barbie the Movie in concert. That's tomorrow night. I don't know, sometime between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. I can't tell you when exactly. You just have to listen to the whole damn show.
That narrow, huh? I like it.
Look, if you want to go, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay? If you can't carve out 3 hours of your life to get 2 pairs of great tickets to this exclusive show, then I don't know what to tell you.
They are great tickets. They're phenomenal tickets.
It's the Bowl. It's the Hollywood Bowl in the summer. You cannot go wrong.
True that.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Mo Kelly here. Last segment, we were talking about the closure of the Village Theater in Westwood. And I was relaying a story of how I was stupid enough to stand in line for at least 8 hours to see the premiere of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, Episode 1, the first of the prequels, and how I was severely disappointed, how much I sacrificed standing in that line, staying up all night, not even going to sleep, leaving the theater around 4 a.m. or so, and then going to work soon thereafter. I guess I was not the most committed person. Producer Lindsay Arabian relayed this story during the break. And Mark Rutter, you're going to get a kick out of this. Unbeknownst to me, because I made the statement, like I asked Lindsay, when were you born? And you said 99. I said, well, that was right around the time in which the movie came out. Lindsay, is it true then your father is a Star Wars geek?
Absolutely.
Okay. Go ahead and tell the story.
Okay. So it's May 1999. And my parents are young, and my dad's like a super geek. He loves like Star Wars, Star Trek. And he was like to my mom, and my mom's like 9 months pregnant at this time.
With you?
Yeah, with me. And I'm their first child and only child. But, he's like, let's go watch the movie. And she's like, okay. And they go watch it. and they're disappointed, but it was so loud that, you know, my mom likes to say that it's what put her in labor, because like 10 days later I was born.
But your mom is not a Star Wars fan.
She is. She likes Star Wars too. She's also a geek, but she was like, come on, like I'm 9 months pregnant. Like, what are we doing?
And he basically made your mom go to the theater,
exactly.
dragged her to the theater.
Yep.
Was it at least a decent hour showing, or did you do a late night one like I did?
I believe it was a late night one. So, yeah.
And are they still married, can I ask?
Yeah, they are. Happily.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Made a 9-month pregnant woman go to see Star Wars The Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm. And then he made her watch, I guess Star Trek was also simultaneously doing stuff, and they aired an episode, I believe, on May 29th, and they were watching it, and my mom was like, I think I'm in labor, and he's like, well, can you wait? And she's like, no, I can't. And I was early too. I was 2 weeks early. And my dad calls my aunt from the hospital, and he's like, oh, like the baby's here. And she's like, what do you mean? Like the baby shower is today. So they had my mom's baby shower without her.
Wait, you have a lot of information there. First, they're watching an episode, not even a movie, an episode of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother interrupted your father to say, I think I'm in labor.
Yeah.
As in, let's go to the hospital.
Yep.
And your father said, can you wait a moment?
Yeah, because you couldn't record things.
That seems reasonable to me.
You know what? I get it, because, you know, I'm also a geek like my dad. I get it.
It's not reasonable. No, they had a VHS back then.
Well, no, which episode was it? Let's pin this down.
I have no idea.
Because there's a lot of original series episodes where you would be within your rights to say, hey, can you just kind of, I don't know, squeeze or something? Just
Wait, we got to ask the question. Is it the original series? Was it like Star Trek, The Next Generation?
I think it was Next Generation.
Oh, then go to the hospital right away.
Right. That's what I'm saying. What are we talking about?
I don't know. He's a big Star Trek fan.
Okay. We got to get him on the line one of these days and get to the bottom of this. Like, what episode was it, and how in the hell did you manage to stay married? Now, did your mother cuss him out? Tell the truth.
I'm not sure. I think she was kind of like, well, my mom's a very like firm woman. She was like, no, we're going like right now. And
okay, so she had to twist his arm.
Yeah.
And he would not give up the TV show because he wanted to see the end of what happened to Picard and maybe Q and Counselor Troy.
Well, he understood, but he was also like,
no, clearly he did not
stay.
understand. No. He did not understand if he had to have a discussion with his wife who was going into labor about whether there was time to see the end credits of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And they managed to stay married. How long have they been married?
They've been married since 1992.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
A good 32 years.
Yep.
When's their anniversary?
October 2nd, the same as Michelle and Brock. They got married on the same day.
Oh. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That almost like brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
I was hoping like maybe like someone have to be made to sleep in the guest room or something. Like, there was no consequences to that.
Nope.
I guess they were just meant for each other because I know if I made my wife wait for anything so I could finish watching like a Marvel movie, she would cuss me out in something awful, and I would not be able to come in the room for like a night.
No, they're good. They're still good.
See if you can find out the episode. We got to get to the bottom of this.
I can call them right now.
Yeah, please.
Text them, call them, because we need to find out before the show's over.
Okay,
we got to close this loop. Just one episode.
All right.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We'll check in with George Norrie. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. KFI Mo Kelly. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Coming up at 10 o'clock will be Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, who joins me now on the line. Good evening, my friend.
Hello, Mo. Were you looking for the Star Wars episode on Phantom Menace?
No, we had the Star Wars movie, The Phantom Menace, and then there was a Star Trek episode in which our producer, there was a fight between her parents as mom was going into labor and dad wanted to see the end of the Star Trek episode before he went to the hospital.
I would have seen that episode.
Well, we found more information. If you got a quick second, Lindsay says that it was a Deep Space Nine episode, and that's not acceptable. It's just unacceptable.
I would have wanted to watch The Family. That's even more exciting.
What's on the show tonight, George?
They're trying to do everything they can to keep us from driving our cars. We'll talk about that. And then later on, how a UFO changed a man's life.
Thank you. Anytime you have UFO, you have me.
You got it.
That's coming up later on Coast to Coast AM. Let me get back to you, Lindsay. And I stole some of your thunder because your dad, during the break, didn't want to come on the air, but he confirmed that it was a Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode. And Deep Space Nine is not one of the beloved series in the Star Trek universe. And your mother didn't take particular umbrage or offense at that?
No. We asked her, and she said, no. Whatever.
She was fine to endure some extra labor pains while Dad saw the end of his marginal, mediocre TV show?
I don't think they made it to the end, but I think she was okay with it for the second. I don't know.
Was he always this type of Star Wars, Star Trek nerd geek, so she knew what she was getting?
Oh, absolutely. He's he introduced her to that stuff, and he's been a fan of that forever. Still is.
And is she?
Yeah, now she is. They'll watch like a ton of like sci-fi stuff together.
Oh, I guess they're a match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
See, my wife is like, ew. I'll watch something else. You can go ahead and watch that. Tuala, when you were married, was that a thing?
No, we would watch separate stuff.
Yeah.
She watched everything having to do with some wife wanting to get married and someone trying their hardest to get a hold of one guy for a rose or something like that. I was watching Smallville and everything superhero possible.
Yeah, my wife watches Lifetime and Bravo. That's it. That's it. And Netflix K-pop.
My parents will sit down almost every night after work, and they'll watch something sci-fi or like NCIS or I don't know.
Oh, that's so
love.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's love.
Beautiful.
That's pure love.
Mark, you are the long-suffering one. Do you have a similar liking of television or movies?
Not really. I'm still trying to live down making her watch John Wick. She's never forgiven me for that. That really traumatized
It
her.
didn't go over well?
No, it didn't. I got her to start watching Hell on Wheels. Do you know what that is?
I'm semi-familiar with it.
It's a Western that takes place after the Civil War on a dirty, nasty, filthy railroad crew. We're into the third season of that, and I'm just crossing my fingers. It's like the only thing we've agreed on in a really long time.
Yeah, there are very few things. My wife and I, our first date, we went to see the Book of Eli. But outside of that, yeah, that was our first date. And we were talking about the other day. But as far as movies, our likes and dislikes don't really cross. Now, she likes Marvel movies, but she doesn't need to see them like I need to see them. I need to see them immediately. She'll see them a year and a half later.
Yeah, this signifies that she's a normal adult, and we're all severely damaged.
That's probably true, but I need her to catch up. If this relationship is going to work, I need her to get on board.
Oh, you just got to let that stuff go. Are you kidding me? I watched half of Avengers Endgame last week just for some comfort viewing. I don't even have any idea how many times I've seen it.
Right.
And I was explaining this to the long-suffering one the next day when we were like the history comes up on your it was actually on YouTube. Somebody posted a pirated copy on YouTube. Just the concept of watching an Avengers movie as comfort viewing was almost impossible to convey to the long-suffering one.
It's one of those movies, whenever it comes on, and I'm talking about Infinity War or Endgame. Mm-hmm. If it comes on, it doesn't matter where it is in the movie, I'm going to watch it every single time.
It's so well done. Those movies are wonderful.
And my wife looks at me and is like, what is your problem? What is your problem?
The same for when they want to sit and watch Beaches or something like that.
And I say, what is your problem? No, but it's weird because my wife will watch Lifetime. It's like every single movie is the same damn plot. There is some crazy boyfriend who's trying to kill her, the wife, or there's some sort of secret romance where the wife is cheating on the husband and the affair boyfriend goes crazy and he's going to try to kill the husband. It's the same movie over and over again. That's like, I asked her, like, how is that any different from me watching Avengers Infinity War over and over? It's the same movie over and over again. She said, well, it's different. No, it isn't. You know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen.
You just have to embrace those differences. You're never going to get them to like what you like and vice versa. It's just not going to happen.
Mark, so says the unmarried man. Wait till you come to our side of the fence. Woo. Woo. Then you have to decide. Because even though our house is big enough, my wife likes to sit downstairs, and you see my house, 12. Big TV, she'll turn it on and turn it up loud. So I need to go in my office and close the door.
Oh, so this is to assert dominance?
Yes.
Around the house?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then if I close the door, she said, oh, so you're being antisocial.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Watch my TV with the door open and I can't even hear my own TV? And then the fight starts.
Oh, my God.
No, that's how it works. I started watching a 1969 Cassavetes movie called Machine Gun McCain on Saturday. The credits weren't even over before I was the only one left in the room.
I tell you.
That's how it works.
Lindsay, don't ever get married. If you do, make sure your husband is a nerd like you.
Oh, he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, my boyfriend's a nerd like me.
Okay. All right. We're off to a good
Perfection.
start. All right.
Perfection.
Don't listen to Mark Ronald, whatever
Okay.
you do.
No, I'm for this. Take each other out of circulation right away.
What?
We'll see you tomorrow. Coming up next is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. And remember, we have those Barbie the Movie in concert tickets at the Hollywood Bowl tomorrow night. Do not miss it. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, at least you've decided to listen to KFI. See, you're making progress.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio.